Here we go. Hey everybody, Houla Entertainment here. I have some amazing poets with me. We're going to do some poetry rounds. Each act is going to go one round with one piece of poetry, and we'll repeat it 3 times. We have Jae Nichelle, Patrick Roche, and Rhea Carmen, actually known as RheaSunshine. And we're going to go through and get this started now. So I hope you sit back and I hope you get to enjoy.
Hey everybody, I am Jae Nichelle, as Lee just said. I'm a spoken word artist I'm in Atlanta currently, but by way of New Orleans. I used to be a member of Team Slam New Orleans, Team Snow, a nationally awarded slam team. If you hear my smoke alarm beeping, it's because I don't know how to change the battery, so we're just gonna ignore that, pretend like it's not happening. But now that I'm here, my job is to really just share my deepest, darkest secrets with strangers. That is what I do now for a living and for you today. So if you can, even though I can't see you, just send good vibes to all of the poets that are performing tonight. Rub your hands together, do something, and I'll just feel it, I'll know. This first poem that I want to do, I'll just get into it. It's for anyone who deals with anxiety or any other kind of mental health thing like I do. This poem, it went viral a couple years ago on Facebook, and I became so aware of just how many people deal with the things that we often don't know how to talk about. So this poem is for you. And it's called Friends with Benefits. So give me that support. I feel it. Yeah, I feel someone's doing it. Some of y'all are not doing it, but I feel the ones that are. My anxiety and I have what some people might call a friends with benefits relationship. We have no love for each other, but she still just messes with me sometimes, We have inside jokes, like when I say, I'm gonna go talk to that person over there, my anxiety looks at me and is like, girl, please. My anxiety is the reason I didn't talk to you. She's possessive. She doesn't like me talking to other people. She's irrational. Because of her, I'll take the long way to my building to avoid someone I already passed by twice because I don't know if it's acceptable to say hey a 3rd time. Because of her, I don't correct people at restaurants who get my order wrong. I just eat it. Because maybe sweet potato fries are what I wanted, but the broccoli you gave me is what I needed. Thank you. Because of her, I'll take the long way to my building to avoid someone who kind of like my ex-boyfriend. Because whenever I hand her the aux cord, she makes sure to play back all the times he told me no one else would ever want me. Because of her, I still feel like no one else will ever want me. I constantly wonder, what happens to a Black girl who is too anxious to ever feel like magic? Can she still fly? Can she still be fly with wings that tremble? Can she forget the lifestyle of an ant, that feeling that no matter what she does, she is in danger of being crushed? And my anxiety doesn't like to be made into metaphors, but what I'm trying to say is she's constantly reminding me of how easy I am to crush. As I speak, I am pushing against her weight on my shoulders, and that is why I shake. Sometimes I have to fight to stand up straight, stop rocking. She and I picked out this outfit together, something that dries fast. If I am sweating, it is because doing this poem feels like fighting a boxing match that you can't even see, and I am determined to knock her out. I have been fighting her for control of our house for years, fighting not to crack, stop rocking, don't shake, breathe. I think The reason my relationships don't work out is because no one knows they're signing up for a threesome. I understand. I know how hard it is to live with both of us when we don't handle being out of control well, when we don't handle conflict well, when everything you say to us will be repeated and deconstructed and analyzed in our head a million times after, and if I am silent for a while. It is because I have to fight with her before I can fight with you. I've tried to cut her off before. I cannot. We do not handle separation well because of our parents, our ex, our friends. Breathe. So I guess my anxiety and I have just learned to live together. She is the longest relationship I have ever had, and as everyone leaves, she is the only relationship that I can count on. Thank you for listening to that. If you clap for me, from the comfort of your own home, I'm just saying I can feel it, so it'd be nice. That poem I love to start with just because it really encompasses for me things that I feel everywhere that I am when I'm on stage, talking to people, and people don't usually see that, that I'm thinking about that while I'm having these things. So poetry is really the best way that I know how to express these things. So I hope you keep listening, because I'll come back again for more poems to share with you. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to your next poet, which is Patrick. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patrick Roche, and just give it up again for Jae one more time, because she is absolutely fantastic, and I'm so glad that I get the chance to perform alongside her and see and hear her work and be so moved by it. I am a spoken word writer, and I work a lot with things like mental health and substance abuse and sexuality, but also things like love and joy and pop culture and things that make me laugh. If you watched my showcase as part of Houla's showcase block yesterday, Tuesday afternoon, you saw two of my pieces, 21, which was the piece that kind of got me really started as a poet and as a touring performer. It was featured on BuzzFeed, the Huffington Post, Upworthy, MSN, iHeartRadio, and it started this love in me and this appreciation for connection and the ways in which sharing stories can break down stigma and build up stronger relationships and just stronger souls and stronger communities. But I'm actually going to start with a poem that touches more on sexuality and mental health, and it does something with my performing that I like to do to kind of push the envelope, and it involves using the space and movement and motion and the body. And that's one thing that I really love doing whenever I can and whenever it fits the poem. So this explores my relationship with a part of the LGBTQ+ community that has meant the most to me over recent years and has brought me the most joy, and that is the community of drag. It's this amazing group of just the most diverse performers of race, gender, queer, and trans performers. And it's just the history and the tradition of the queer community and love. So I'm going to pay some respect to that. Everything my brain knows, it learned from drag. 1, what is the most acceptable face I can wear tonight? Or what is the opposite of that? Highlight the bridge of the nose, the cheekbone, the parts pretty for pictures, hide the rest. Contour and shadow away the sharp, the visible flaw, the grief, the sad, the parts of the body unfit for the public eye, or maybe the ones you just want to transform and tighten. Train the waist, thread the hips through a needle's eye, and sew the self-hatred into sequins. Look, I spent an adolescence corseting myself via the bathroom scale. No dinner, run the extra mile, depression, anorexia, skinny legend to, if nothing else, at least the performance. get the money, snatch the bills. I've seen dollars fly out of my own hands for the kind of life that takes investment. Turn the party girl, the pills, the doctors, the cost of staying alive with a sick brain. I know the drill. Maybe just lip sync. Not everyone came out here tonight to listen to what you have to say, and that's okay. They might just be here for a good time. Maybe try mouthing along to something that could actually make a room full of strangers feel happy and safe. Maybe something they can dance to. They might be trying to forget the daylight too, you know, turn the party girl, dance, twirl, pose, vogue, 8 count, work the stage, bend over backwards just to get through the night, the month, the appointment, the song, and memorize the routine. Eat, shower, milligrams, therapy, exercise, feel the brain split and crash to the floor, spread yourself thin, dip, drop, trust, fall, unsure where you'll land, but three. Still, even in the darkest, dingiest corners and basements and back rooms of the mind, of the club, of the screaming city, still this drag, this potential for joy. Find the words, sad little queer boy, the productive way to laugh at fear and death and yourself. This protest, this church, see what small sources of love and dance and joy and community can work to shake you from the sadness, finding acceptance as you are or as something else. Bless the smoke machine and the smoky eye. Bless the genderless smile. Bless the dance in the strobe light, every beat, every move, one step closer to morning, one step closer to a brain and a body worthy of a room, worthy of a cheer, worthy of love. Thank you, everybody. I will be back shortly for some more poems. And in the meantime, keep sending all of your great energy and vibes for your next poet up to the little virtual stage here, RheaSunshine.
Wow, Jae and Patrick are so amazing, and it's absolutely an honor to be on the same roster with such greatness. So I'm the newbie of the group, and I am the type of poet who just loves to inspire, to write stories, to tell stories that will inspire others to tell their story. I love to help you write your own story. And so I tend to tell the stories of the people in my life and my own life in everything that I do. So I shared a couple of poems in the showcase, and I just wanted to go a little further. I love to sing, love to play my ukulele. I don't have it with me tonight, but I do love to do those things while I'm performing. So here's a little song and a poem. 'Cause when the gold inside your soul is locked in chains, and the world done told you that ain't gonna change, and your dreams are now a goal so close in range, and you're excited, so excited, so excited now. Can I make it? Can I handle it? These are the words that filter through the mind of an admitted poetic schizophrenic, this genius trapped in mediocrity. I'm supposed to be more than just dust. All else is formed from words, but me, I'm woven into existence from rib and dust and air, from the mouth of a creator who knew once set free I would be continuously learning new things about myself. I was never meant to fit into any box. I see your lines as restrictions on my spirit, and I color outside them, defining sight. And all I write with open eyes, I'm listening to the cries of the world seeking coverage. I got poems I haven't even written yet. And still I seek for greatness in the eyes of someone or some crowd not worthy to judge me. I'm just glad that I'm okay. 'Cause when the gold inside my soul is locked in chains and I don't know what else to do, I have to remember that I'm just another poet, trying to change this world and trying to do something different. So I hope that I plant the seeds and change the world and take you to the next degree, because that is what I do with my voice. I don't even need one mic. I'll whisper. You'll come closer to hear words drench you with spiritual awakening, urging you to stop and read, learn who you are, and then love that person. You are who you believe you are, rather than what you've been programmed to believe. I've come to relieve your mind of social tension, gather your attention like a black hole sucks in light. I'm more than just all right. I am that Adam created to be like the Most High, and he teaches me, opening this mind to all that's been denied me, so that when the gold inside my soul is locked in chains, and the world done told me that ain't gonna change, and my dreams are now a goal so close in range, and I'm excited, so excited, so excited now. I remember that I have poems that I just haven't written yet. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's an honor, and I'll be back a couple more times, and we're just gonna keep this open mic cipher of poetry and greatness going, because we're going right back to Jae Nichelle. Make some noise, virtual noise.
Yes, I received the virtual noise. Oh my gosh, that was, I mean, just beautiful. I have goosebumps from that singing. I feel like one of the few poets who can't sing, you know? So when other poets sing, I'm just like, wow, what's it like to have all the talents? I don't know if y'all can feel it where y'all are at home, but the energy in this virtual space is just great for me. And I kind of want to switch gears a little bit with this next poem. Kind of like what Patrick was saying. I also, you know, I write a lot about mental health, the things I've dealt with being a Black woman in America, and just other, you know, personal issues that I feel like I want to bring to the forefront, because for the majority of my life, you know, I've been told, you know, don't share, you know, the hurtful things, don't speak them, don't give them power, don't let people know what's happened, don't talk about it. And I realized that that's really not helpful to healing and to the process that we need to go through to deal with what's really happening and speak about these things. So which leads me into my next poem. One of the things that I have an issue with is I'm really not much of a talker, despite what you probably think now. And it got me into a lot of trouble in school, because there's the notorious participation grades where professors make you talk, you know, I'm sure you know. So, you know, I always got in trouble. It'd be my lowest grade all the time. And I had a teacher come up to me one time and just be like, you are so smart, but I can't get you to talk. So this is kind of what this next poem is about. It's called Participation Grade, and trigger warning for sexual violence. So give me that energy. My professor says that the participation grade is the easiest. Just show up, do the work, and talk in class. I show up, I do the work. I do not say anything. I know the answers sometimes. Her eyes plead with me during silent class moments, and she thinks maybe I don't care, but I'm not even paying attention. I'm thinking about before, like when my basketball coach says I'm a good player because I do what I'm told without protest. I nod and don't say anything. It's true. I often do what I'm told without protest. There's only one seat open on the school bus, and the girl in it does not move her backpack. I sit on the floor, and I don't say anything. Some kids tell me that my lips remind them of a monkey. They scratch their armpits in my face, and I do not say anything. A boy puts his hand on my thigh on a school drama trip. A different boy puts his hand down my pants in the hallway, and though he didn't need to, tells me not to say anything. I talk to my dad about the news during Me Too. He says it's hard for him to believe women who wait before reporting. And I do not say anything. I get zeros in participation. I've made a habit of not speaking that I cannot break, and your class professor will not break me. I've already been broken. It's funny how I chose to study language and am still unable to express myself. I wonder, what's the point of knowing things I'll never be able to articulate? You fail me because you think I'm not trying, but you should pass me because of how fast I learn. I do not need to be taught a lesson twice. I speak, and the kids at school think I'm strange. I speak, and my parents silence me. I speak, and I say the wrong thing in the wrong way. I speak, and I'm told I don't know what I'm talking about. I speak, and he's mad, and he's saying I'm lying, saying I'm a child, and I must be confused. I did everything he asked without protest, so I must have been fine. Otherwise, why didn't I speak? All those moments, I wanted to make myself disappear, and my voice did it instead. I'm sorry. I'll show up. I'll do the work. I'm trying to figure out how to love a body I have never spoken up for. How to use a mouth I've always wanted to hide. How to trust a tongue that has always failed me, and it's taking longer than I anticipated. I cannot raise my hand. I don't know what will come out if I do. She asked me, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I think, the worst thing that could happen is I speak and nothing happens. Nothing at all. Thank you for sending me warmth enough to do that poem. Like I said, it gets easier to talk about certain things, you know, as you continue to do so. So if you leave here with anything on your heart, I hope it's the freedom to talk about what's on your mind and what you're going through with somebody, anybody. And on that note, we're gonna kick it back off to Patrick. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Jae, and give even more. I know you already probably gave all of your love to Jae, but somehow find even more and give more. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing all of your work and your stories. And thank you to Rhea for sharing all of your stories and your work and for continuing to do so. I'm going to switch gears and jump into another thing that I like to do with my work, and that is play around with voices and characters. I write a lot about personal narrative coming out of my own stories and my own experiences. And sometimes as a writer, that can be really scary, and it can be interesting to look at things from a different perspective and tell your story through another character. And then for audiences, it's been a really amazing way to connect to people using these characters and these voices and these people and these things that they know and are familiar, and using them as a gateway into tackling all sorts of topics. It makes these things a lot more approachable, a lot more understandable, and a lot less intimidating. And that's a really important thing when we're trying to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and get a lot of these conversations started. But I also use these characters and voices for comedy and humor. I do a lot of improv work. I'll take suggestions and riff off of different ideas with characters from Kermit the Frog and Bernie Sanders and Natasha Lyonne, and you know, I have stuff in tech voices in my phone. But one of the characters that I am most fond of and that is closest to my heart is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. I literally have a Stitch phone case. I've got like a Stitch stuffed animal. It's a whole thing. It's my favorite Disney movie. And I wrote this poem. And for anyone who maybe is unfamiliar with Lilo and Stitch, you gotta know he's this like cute, furry little alien that crashes on Earth, and he's just programmed to destroy and cause havoc and have no family. And over the course of the film, he learns how to soften and how to love and the value of finding the strength in a family and in togetherness. So this is Stitch as emotional support. A Stitch knows the brain bent on destroy and havoc. A Stitch knows the panic rooted in a broken mind, a mind programmed for anything but happy and peace and love. Stitch also has a fear of the white coats. Sometimes the doctors are wrong and it feels like you could raise a whole world to the ground to quiet the scream inside. Stitch was lost. Are you lost? Crashing in an unknown land in your head? No more running or claws. Stitch knows that you're scared people will think you are only built for the opposite of family. But Stitch thinks you're not lost, or you can find yourself. A panic attack is not a monster breeding shame out of your weak nervous system. It is your brain struggling to keep the family of your body together. Maybe your brain loves you so much it holds you as tight as it can when it thinks something is trying to end you. Stitch has seen the stars up close. Stitch has felt the sand in his toes, and there is nothing as bright or as soft as the breath you still share with this world and every world. Stitch's brain was a strange and stubborn child, and Stitch thinks your brain is too. It's not fair to hate a child for still learning, and it's slow, but Stitch thinks family can help, even if family is just the gentle guiding hand of your pills. Stitch was scared of the ocean, like depression, the way it holds you under endless weight, how it is so filled with salt and darkness and unknown predators, how it drags you out in relentless tides and tosses you against the rocks. But Stitch thinks you'd be surprised how many friends will carry you back to shore. And that's all it takes to ease the chaos. A friend, a small and smiling family, a sandcastle, and a good song. Stitch thinks your brain is getting better, but that doesn't mean it isn't already good and worth loving. Your brain has a glitch, but it's still yours and beautiful. It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I hope that maybe brought up some nostalgia for you. I think there's nothing wrong with finding some comfort in the things that bring us joy. And sometimes that's a way that we can work through the darkest times, especially kind of going through all the isolation and uncertainty of the world right now. I know that I've kind of revisited a lot of entertainment, a lot of TV, a lot of movies, a lot of music, some of which I hadn't revisited in years. And it's been a really comforting source of like familiarity and hope and joy. So I hope you all kind of can identify those things that bring you that joy, that comfort, that pureness, and hold on to them and learn from them. But we're gonna keep it moving, and we're gonna pass this on over to RheaSunshine for her next piece.
Hey, good to see you again. You know, one of the things that I really focus on is a battle that is as silent as mental illness, and a lot of people don't understand it or know what's going on, and that is multiple sclerosis, which is an autoimmune disease that I have. And I include quite a bit about it in my writing and just education about it, so that more people know that somebody who's right under your nose may be going through something and you don't know. So this was my letter to MS. I didn't know you were here with me all along. causing me more problems than solutions. You were hiding somewhere in the crevices of my mind, making me less of the woman that I wanted to be. You abused my energy for your own sick, twisted plan. You make me weak whenever you want to. Decide when I will sleep and when I need to go without it. You torture me incessantly, invisible to all, but your results are evident. I'm making it has now become my mantra because I'm doing everything I can daily to fight you, trying to win a battle with myself because you reside somewhere up there in the part of me that I can't see without the technology. MRIs and dye are the only thing that reveal you to the world. You're rattling around in my brain, at times making me question my sanity because when you're in control, I feel outside of myself, watching myself struggle to do things that normally come easy, like thinking, questioning, why me? What do I deserve to this type of relationship, this type of thorn in my flesh, this punishment for who knows what I could have done to deserve your presence? I can't get rid of you. Monkey on my back, trying hard to keep my thoughts and faith on track. I know I'm healed, but yesterday it didn't really manifest itself the way that I thought it needed to. Instead, you showed up, trying to make me doubt the God that I serve and become desperate enough to give up, but that's not in my personality. I will not give up. And you might change a lot of things about me, but you cannot change that part of me. I'm going to write you out, letting you know that although we are joined together through these nerves and chromosomes, I will never be your slave. I will do me without failing because all I do is win. So square up, MS. You got a fight on your hands. Thank you. All right, so we got one more round. Oh, you thought it was good. It only gets better. So we got one more round. Y'all make a whole lot of virtual noise for Jae Nichelle.
Oh my goodness, I'm loving the energy. I wouldn't want to be a mess, squared up like this because it's for real. Oh, amazing. I took off my glasses just because I felt like my face was half computer screen. I know you already saw me with them on, but now, costume change. So now I can't see, but that's okay because when it comes to poetry, you just have to feel, right? That's what they tell us. So this next poem, this last poem that I'm going to do, I wrote it at the beginning of this quarantine situation. I felt like, there was a lot of stuff circulating, like, listen to Black women will save us, those kind of, sayings that people throw out there. And it just made me feel tired. And I'm especially tired today and now, just feeling like you have to be a superhero to exist in this world, to be worthy of existing in this world. So I wrote this poem. It's called Choose Your Fighter. And it is unfortunately just continuously relevant. So I do this today for everyone out there who feels like they're getting tired of being a superhero, superhuman, just to get through each day. Yeah. I witnessed a lot of fights in middle and high school. So much so that as a kid, I found myself practicing for the inevitable, wondering what I would do. I wanted to be like the tougher girls, who could take hit after hit and not cry, who kept getting up and up until the teacher dragged them to the principal's office, but my battles have never been physical. I left school unprepared to wrestle with a world that would gladly stomp me out with half a chance, a world that would pull my hair, steal my lunchbox, and then tell the principal I started it, a world that would tell me I was never good enough, and was never working hard enough, and on my worst days, I believed the world when it told me I was not strong enough. See, white supremacy is the most conniving bully. And every day that a Black woman wakes up, she has to choose a fighter just to make it through. I thought to be a good fighter meant to be superhuman, as unbreakable as the women around me, the good fighters who never let their hurt show, who made it through level after level, straight-faced, healing their own bruises, making it work with whatever tools life handed them. Like a good fighter keeps getting up no matter how tired she is. A good fighter could rip the final boss apart with her teeth and have the bloodstains out of her clothes by morning. A good fighter keeps her head up always, laughing at the world's attempts to bring her down, but I'm no longer on the playground. And superhumans only exist in video games. And I believe I've seen the fighters in my life break down no matter how hard they've tried not to, and I believed another lie, which is that good fighters have to fight alone. They don't. They lean on the fighters around them. We are not always strong enough, and no one person can be all the time. When I finally chose a fighter, I chose myself, someone who is far from invincible, someone who might cry before the fight even starts, someone who deserves a break sometimes and will take one, ignoring all the voices that tell her no, a fighter who is not and never will be weak for walking away from fights that do not serve her, a fighter surrounded by a team of good fighters who have her back, all the things that make us human, make us good fighters, and I would pick me and my squad against the world any day, because we are not superhuman. We heal each other's wounds. We cry when we get lost. We get angry. We don't always want to work harder. We refuse to beat ourselves up. We find joy in the littlest of things. We refuse to be martyrs. And let's be honest, it's not much of a fight, because in this way, when we choose to be ourselves first, we will always be the ones winning. Thank you. That was my poem, Choose Your Fighter, and that is my last poem for the night. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who stayed around to see this, and please do follow me on the socials at Crop Top Assassin. Yes, I am wearing a crop top. Well, I can't stand up because I'm wearing sweatpants. I didn't, I only get dressed with the waist up. Crop Top Assassin, and you can find me on my website, jaenichelle.com. So let's move along to Patrick, and thank you for listening.
Okay, well, now that we've all been completely blessed by Jae, and before we continue and conclude being blessed by Rhea, I will share my last poem here. And this piece actually came out of a prompt. And one of the things that has been most meaningful to me as a writer has been the community of writers and building that trust and that mutual creative approach. And as someone who has a background in education, I studied to be a high school teacher, and I was fully intending to be until like senior year of college. Poetry kind of took off. And now I like to combine those in whatever ways I can. And a lot of times that means teaching a workshop, approaching things from that angle, and helping create and really participate in the community aspect of creative arts and writing and performing. But this poem came out of a prompt from a teammate of mine on a slam team. Their name is Golden. They're a fantastic writer. And I decided to close out with this piece tonight because I kind of was struggling to figure out what piece to close out with. And I never really know, how do you tie something up really nicely and leave everything on the stage or like on the screen and say everything you need to say. And we realized maybe just like posing that question to ourselves was the best thing. If this is the last thing they're going to hear from you tonight, what's everything you want to get out? And if this were like my last poem, I think I'd want ice cream in it. I feel like I don't write enough about ice cream or water parks or drag shows. I guess what I'm saying is, if this were my last poem, let it have some joy in it, some joy that is just joy, that won't apologize for its vibrance. let it be happy, or at least as happy as it can be, even if only in a whisper, or if it can't be happy, let it not be ashamed. There would be no room for shame here, for my body, for the boys I've kissed, for the times I've wanted to let the night seep into my wrists and let myself seep out. And I know I just made this into another sad poem for a couple lines, but I want that to be okay too. To be a sad child and not know how else to exist. I want to tell you that's okay, but mostly I want to tell me, because if this were my last poem, it might just be for me. Let it be a haven for that kind of love. Let me be selfish for once. Let it be an amphitheater where I hear my own voice and I applaud for my own self, the loudest in the room. You know what, I kind of want to sing during it. Like, I've never really sung during a poem before, and I guess why shouldn't this be my own like super gay fantasy of an aging diva farewell tour? But I don't have like a costume or props, so it's going to be a low budget farewell tour, like the one my grandfather gave, from the minimal stage of a hospital bed, soaking in every tear from every face in that room, asking for one more song before the curtain. If this were my last poem, let it have my grandfather and my grandmother and even my father. Let it be its own small heaven for them, the meager religion of words, the most I can offer. Let it not be afraid to cry, not be afraid of loss, but also I hope it's the last poem only because I have nothing more to say and not because I finally blinked in the face of suicide. If this were my last poem, I'd want to hold someone's hand. My mother, my brother, my boyfriend, a stranger in the crowd, myself, and tell them, my name's Patrick. I'm sad. I take antidepressants. I am lonely so often, but I love you. And oh, and when I was like a kid, I had a huge crush on Aladdin, and I just think everybody needs to know that because, I don't know, like it feels important to my narrative or whatever, and if this is my last poem, I'm gonna make sure that my future biographers can get every detail exactly right, and I can't believe I forgot. I really wanted to sing. Thank you for all your love and your energy and your time tonight. You can follow me at Patrick Roche Poetry on Facebook and Instagram, or at Patrick Poetry on Twitter because they had like a shorter limit. And definitely check out Houla's page and website for any and all info and contact stuff there. And enjoy the rest of your APCA, and I hope to see you soon and talk to you soon. But your night is not complete without being closed out by the incredible, talented, wonderful, luminous RheaSunshine.
That might be one of the best introductions I've ever gotten, Patrick. Thank you so much. Luminous. I need to put that in my bio. So I have one more piece that I want to do for you all. And this is the newest piece. Just released it on YouTube. It's got a bunch of visits and all of that good stuff. And it is much like Patrick. I think if it was my last poem, I would want this to be it, because I want you to look at me for everything that I am and not just what you first see. It's called After the Black. There are a few things that are obvious from a first glance at me. The most obvious thing to see is that I am Black. And I suppose you could stop there. You could allow that to put a wall between you and I, or you could see it as an immediate connect with me. However, whichever you choose, I fear you will have only scratched the surface of my essence. What will you do after the Black? After you have judged whether I match or clash your perception, following that initial reaction, will you care to know my story? Because you can't know immediately that I identify as heterosexual. You can't know that I'm married with children, that I wish daily that my children could climb into the lap of the man that raised me and call him Pops. That my mother speaks to me every time I cross her mind because her spirit is connected to me and she is my first hero. There is no way for you to know that I see the world in poetry and numbers, because they're the only things that are real and tangible to me, and that my love is expressed in one of these two ways to every person in my life. What will you miss if you never make it past the black? How many hugs that can change your day or mood will you miss out on? How much inspiration and strength will you fail to ever see? How many problems will you never solve? How much understanding will you miss? How much love, if you only see me as comrade or foe, have you truly looked? I am broken by the people that spread hatred through their gaze, judging, pulling triggers, and closing doors, forgetting to see human before difference, spreading lies and division without first thinking golden, finding reasons to remove a story by only looking skin deep. Religion deep, party deep, sexuality deep, paycheck deep. For whatever you have chosen your black to be, what will it take for you to see after it? To see one another as humanity, to know that somebody has loved or been loved by another, looked up at the same sky and seen the same sun, gazed into the night and shared the same stars, closed their eyes to sleep or die and met the same darkness. We are all looking for the light. Looking through mirrors to see ourselves as more than just a list of black that somebody may not accept. I learned to love myself. My dark skin and coiled hair, I find power in its energy. I don't always fit in where I should. I keep quiet on issues until I can write about them. I struggle to let people in to love me, but I give love freely, trusting that I will never run out of love for myself. I fight my body against its attempts to break down daily. I am a survivor of more than this blackness. My father taught me that I was black and beautiful, making sure that I understood there is more after the black. There is beauty deeper than this melanin, more than me, than the black. I will never allow myself to stop there or even see it as a weakness or flaw. It is me as much as my quirky personality and belief in a God without limitations. It is the understanding that I am made in that image and I have no limitations. It is the understanding that I will not ever cease. I am creation made perfect just the way I am. So I embrace the flaws and imperfections, the hard days and glorious transitions. There is nothing wrong with any part of who I am. Every attribute is marked with what exists. I am beautiful beyond the black. I am Mother Earth, with treasures in my words, giving birth to lightning, oceans, and fire. There is prophecy in my gardens. My father named me Rhea, calling me to motherhood. I am more than your initial glance, and you will never know until you see me after the black. Thank you guys so much for listening to our poetry. You can bring all three of us to your campus. I'm telling you, we will come. We will do a virtual show with you. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I'm RheaSunshine Poetry. Make sure that you go to the Houla website and find out more about us. It's been great. Continue to have fun, Apka. Peace.
Guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Special thanks to Jae Nichelle, Patrick Roche, and Rhea Carmen. She goes by RheaSunshine. Amazing, amazing work. So touching tonight. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll have this recorded and we can send it out to your schools as well if you miss watching this or you want to share it with someone. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful night. We're off.